All right, hello everyone. My name is Andrew Bannish. You've heard me a few times already. Welcome to the 2020 NeuroMaker Creative Challenge Awards and the unveiling of NeuroMaker BCI, one of our newest STEM education products. So super happy to have you all here today. Today we have a whole list of really exciting things to get through with you. So I'm going to jump right to the chase. I'm going to jump into this next slide, and you're going to see what we have on deck for you all today. So today, first, I'm going to do some quick introductions. So you know who I am, you know who some of the other special guests talking to us today are. From there, I know most of you are familiar with the NeuroMaker Creative Challenge. So I'm going to go over some of the things that went into this, some of the criteria that our judges have worked very hard on using, and I'm going to introduce all the teams who made it into the finalist round. Next, we're going to review each project together. So I have a few of the judges with me today, and we are actually going to see their feedback live based on the review that they've done in the past. Finally, the last few minutes, we're going to talk about our newest addition to the NeuroMaker portfolio, the NeuroMaker BCI. So just as our NeuroMaker STEM kit engages people to learn more about advanced prosthetics, we want to engage people in the BCI space as well. So we're going to give you a very quick demo and some information about that. All right, so let's get right into the fun stuff. So our introductions, as I mentioned, we are joined by some all-star people here. That was not meant to be self-gloating myself. I was really referring to the next three people. If you have not met me yet, my name is Andrew Bannish. I've been working in international education for the past 10 years, all kinds of things, particularly within STEM. And here at the NeuroMaker team, I'm really focused on bringing all these cool things from the scientists that you're about to meet into the classroom. So, and a few of those people we're going to showcase here today. So first is Max Newlon. So he's actually the president of BrainCo USA and has had clinical trial experience at Beth Israel Hospital in Massachusetts. He's done all kinds of stuff on BCI. I would never be able to give full recognition to all the great achievements that Max has had. So I'll ask him to say a couple words and introduce himself to the crowd.
It's nice to meet everyone. I'm super excited that you decided to join our NeuroMaker award ceremony and also launch of our new product, which we're super excited for. Like Andrew was saying, my background is in clinical trial research, mostly with invasive brain-machine interface technology, which is the type of technology that goes inside your brain to help certain clinical populations, like people with Parkinson's disease, things like that. And also research on how meditation and yoga impact the brain. So after grad school, I combined this interest from neuroscience and meditation and joined BrainCo in 2016 when there was only about 15 people in the company. And we were still trying to discover what it is we wanted to build, what it is we wanted to do. And over the past 4 years, we've now grown to nearly 200 people with offices around the world. We developed technology for elite athletes and Formula One drivers. We developed technology for amputees like you guys know about. And also we turn those products into education solutions like the NeuroMaker Hand and the one that we're going to unveil tonight, the NeuroMaker BCI. The one thing that I wanted to add or call out as we kind of talk about bios and things like that. If you read my bio, like it sounds like I did all these crazy things and had this plan all along and everything lined up, but the truth is actually a little different. In high school, I wanted to be a karate teacher. I loved karate, and that's like exactly what I wanted to do. And by the time I got to college, I discovered that psychology and philosophy were really interesting. And basically every step of the way, I tried to follow what I was really interested in and looked for opportunities that lined up for that. And now, you know, I have this really incredible honor to work at BrainCo, but the path was really zigzaggy. So since we're talking about bios and careers and things like this, one piece of insight that I've gained is as long as you are pursuing opportunities that are in line with what you find valuable, the career path will unfold in front of you. So as long as you have a vision, at least for the next little bit of time or the period of time that you're in, I think that you guys are going to find a lot of success. And the fact that you're already doing this at this age and working with us and working on these types of projects that's a strong indicator to me that you guys have a lot of passion for what you do. So even at that, I would say congratulations for participating in a project like this. And I can't wait to see what projects you guys developed. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, thank you very much, Max. So you're going to hear a little bit more from Max later on. There's a lot of really cool ways that we hope that you can take this experience and bring that into your future careers, no matter what those are. So thank you, Max. Let's meet our next guest. So some of you have met Dr. Jamal before from some of our other interviews. So Dr. Jamal is our senior research scientist here within the organization, and she completed her postdoc at MIT, doing all kinds of things in EEG signal analysis, electrical engineering, and all kinds of other stuff. So she's a member of our NeuroMaker judging committee and has personally reviewed all the projects that came in along with the rest of our judging panel. So Dr. Jamal, is there anything else that you'd like to add to that bio?
No, not really. Well, these are all the achievements. So I wish, people, it was a norm to add failures on bios. But if I were to say that, it's not all glory to the journey to the end. I mean, I'm still on the journey of learning and, increasing my knowledge. And throughout this journey, there's going to be ups and downs. And I want you guys to focus on the fact that, life, every opportunity that comes, it's a learning opportunity, even if it's not the best outcome that you think it is. And, like Max said, I have also had a very zigzaggy journey. I started my training in engineering. And then once I, fell in love with the, working with components and engineering, I realized that I also wanted to somehow use my my skills to help human beings. I thought that that was something that was missing in my training. So when I started doing my postdoc, I really focused on an application that was dear to me, and I found that I can use engineering to solve clinical problems. So, how can we use some of the skills that I've learned in my undergrad training to be able to help people understand how the brain functions, and especially when we talk about diseases or people who are atypical in their function of the brain. So the brain function when there's atypical, for example, there's people who have ADHD, autism. What can we learn from the brain about this? So that got me really passionate. And I found a way to use my skills, apply that to help causes that I was passionate about. And then even now, being a part of BrainCo, I believe that I still have those opportunities to be able to help and figure out and answer different curious questions. So as I said, I'll stop there, but again, some of you guys have heard me. I love talking about my journey, my ups and both downs. And if you guys ever have any questions about, how to navigate yourself through, high school, undergrad, PhD, feel free to reach out to Andrew, and I'd be happy to touch base with you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Jamal. Yes, so, and I'll also echo that Dr. Jamal has been super involved with bringing new blood into STEM. So we've done all kinds of different webinars over the past year. She's been unbelievably helpful with everything that she's done, and we're very grateful to have her here. The last guest that we have with us today, so he actually gave us all of his feedback via some canned video. So we'll be able to share that with you when we go through our presentations. So Dr. Wu, some of you have met him before. So he's actually the team lead for our Brain Robotics Prosthetics division. So he also has a doctorate in engineering, and he's actually the main designer behind the prosthetic hand that was the model for the STEM or the NeuroMaker hands that you've been using in your competition. So he's won a ton of different awards there, and you can hear some of his feedback when we get to the presentations later today. Okay, so before we unveil our awards and look at our projects, I just want to do a quick look back so you can see the context in which all of your hard work has been put together. So first, you've all spent amazing amounts of time investigating ways to improve life for amputees around the world, just like the people in our laboratory do. and students around the country have researched different ways that they can help amputees and created prototypes to solve them. So the skills that you exhibited and our judging committee went through, we looked at the engineering design process that you all used. Things like, are you doing the research that is required of this? Have you been able to analyze it? What kinds of iterations have you done? Next, we wanted to look at some more general designs from the prototypes that you came up with. So some people had hard prototypes, other people had conceptual ones. So the design, creativity, and reliability there were strong indicators. And then finally, in the world of COVID that we're all experiencing now, not to mention within science itself, we wanted to make sure that you're able to present your different contributions appropriately. So that was a huge part of what we did for our judging process. And the results that came out from this ceremony were all based on these factors. So we spent the past few weeks evaluating all these, and we're very happy with the results. And just so you can all be very proud of yourselves, so you are part of a very large community around the world. So currently people using the NeuroMaker hand, I was actually looking at some of the numbers today. We have well over 70 institutions around the world that are operating these materials in some form or another. And the submissions that came from really all over the place. So just the fact that you can be finalists here means that you really put a lot of hard work into this, and it really showed. So I wanted you to all be very proud of yourselves for putting that together. So today we're going to give out these 4 awards. So we're going to be giving out our high school category, our first, second, and third place. And then middle school, we're going to be giving out our first place award. So just as a side note, COVID has impacted a lot of schools out there. So unfortunately, actually a lot of middle school submissions came in much later than the deadline that we set. So we're currently evaluating the submissions that came in there, and most likely we're going to do another smaller award ceremony for those that came in a bit later. People worked really hard on these. We want to make sure that they're judged appropriately and that contributions are recognized. So we'll absolutely give time to them, but we will be confident with the awards that we're giving out today. So to introduce our finalists. So first I'm going to introduce the teams that put together our finalist contributions, and then we're going to look at each one of the videos that they submitted so you can all see. So, and of course, you're all absolutely awesome for taking part in this. I know you all put a lot of extra effort besides school and everything else that you're doing. So we thought you'd all deserve to have a special mention for what you did. So first, coming all the way from California, we have Team Banning. So Suzette, Satali, Angelica, and Angel, congratulations for being one of the finalists. We're going to look at your contribution in just a moment, and you're going to get feedback from the actual engineers. So congratulations for making it to this stage. And all the way from Valor High School in Colorado, we have CJ, Nicolette, and Claire. Also, huge congratulations to you all. Our judges had a great time reviewing your contributions, and we'll all be able to look at them very soon. Our final high school candidate is Perry Central High School. So congratulations to Caitlin, Cole, Carissa, and another Cole. We really like the project that you put together, and I hope everybody does too. And finally, coming to us from our home turf here in Boston, so Team Blue with Edward, A. Orban, and Jay Wang from the Vinci Robotics Academy. Congratulations for making it into the final round. We're going to be excited to look at your project too. All right, so next we're going to play all the projects so we can all see them together. And after each one, I'm going to invite Dr. Jamal to give some comments on what she thought about that during the judging process. So we'll all be able to get a great view of what these projects look like. And right after that, we're going to give out the awards and see who got what. Before we jump into that though, I wanted to allow Max Newlon to have a few comments on what we hope this competition can inspire in you all. So Max, would you mind giving us a few words on what this might be able to unlock for students in the future?
Absolutely. You know, I was thinking about the project that you guys all did, and it reminded me of this project we did when BrainCo was still pretty early. It was a pretty young company, and we wanted to show that our technology could make a really big impact on people's lives. But we weren't really sure if we should do a research study and partner with a university, spend a lot of time, do all this research to come to some conclusion with a really prestigious university. So we were planning on working with MIT, and I was a little hesitant, you know, to be honest, going into it, not sure if we were going to get good results or bad results. or what their relationship with MIT might be like, because that would be a really big deal if we did that well and we got really good outcomes. And so the whole team was a little nervous going into it, but we decided to just go for it and just see what happens. Just try and see what we can learn. And the outcomes ended up being fantastic. Still to this day, that research study provides us a ton of value because it was able to show how it was able to validate our technology and show how it can drive all different types of positive changes in people's lives. And the reason why that came to mind when I was thinking about the projects you guys did is, not every student has the courage or the drive to do this type of project. And the fact that you guys not only did it, but you also submitted your project for review in this little, mini review / competition that we're hosting, and to be judged and see how well you did. Sometimes that can be a little scary. And I just want to commend you guys for putting your neck out there and actually doing it. Because just like our study with MIT in BrainCo's example, just getting out there in the world and really trying something is the only way that you're going to learn the fastest and see what might come of it. And I know there's some rewards for participating in this too. So it is really similar to the position that our little startup company was in. The reward would be really big if we, focused really hard and did our best and organized our efforts to get the job done. And that's exactly what you guys did. So I would like to have you guys realize that first, it takes some courage and bravery to do what you guys did. So awesome. And also recommend that you guys continue to do this in whatever fashion you guys find yourself in. If you're in high school right now and you're thinking about a university, maybe that means reaching out to a professor at the university that you want to go to and understand their work more, or understand the university more. Or when it's time to get a job, maybe it means reaching out to a company that maybe you don't think you have a shot with, but you're just going to go for it anyways and see what you can learn. Or maybe it's even starting a company one day and just going for it and seeing what you can do. So that lesson or that ability or skill that you guys practice through participating in this competition, I hope that stays with you and you continue to just go for it, because no matter what, you're going to learn something, and it's likely that you're going to get some sort of positive outcome. So yeah, I think you guys have done a wonderful thing participating in this, and please continue to hold on to that virtue, because I think it will pay dividends for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Max. So that's a great way to visualize what we're going to be viewing here in just a moment. So now you all stuck your necks out there and are about to be recognized for it. So we thought it'd be fair for all of us to see the amazing things that you put together. So first, I'm going to play each one of your finalist videos. So these are just about 1.5 minutes each. And then I'd please like to invite Dr. Jamal at the end of this video, at the end of each video, to give her feedback on what went through her mind during the judging process. So first, we're going to take a look at the project from Team Banning in California. Let's see what you all came up with. Here, they actually put together a series of different ways that amputees could take advantage of this technology. So what they wanted to focus on was different things that would happen in an after-school environment that would be relevant for the use of a prosthetic. So they looked at things from anything from arts activities to music and other physical activities. So they put together a few different prototypes involving holding different brushes, holding different kinds of other items, and came up with some conceptual solutions around that. What they also did was come up with some different ways that people could play different instruments using a prosthetic hand, and showed their results through their project, and which I thought was particularly interesting because our prosthetic was actually used for a much similar thing with the piano. And then they actually had a few other sports corollaries. So for instance, holding a basketball, they were able to come up with some different ways that the ball could be held and grasped with a different prosthetic hand. Additionally, they had some great videos here. I'm going to work on the audio for just a bit following this, but you'll at least be able to see it even if the audio is not coming through. some ways that they had music actually played through what they put together with the kit.
So the music comes through nicely.
Okay, that part's nice. Great. So I'm gonna adjust this screen a little bit, but in the meantime, Dr. Jamal, what did you think of Team Banning's project?
I was very impressed that the team did such a fantastic job in researching the background and really speaking to experts in the field to dig into the problem. And because their process was so centered around doing that research and taking that feedback, usually this is the kind of work that gives you the best kind of outcome. And in understanding what are the actual problems that need to be solved, right? And within the time, they were able to produce some prototypes, some actual prototypes, some designs. So it was great. I really enjoyed the thorough background and research that they put into this project.
Great, thank you, Dr. Jamal. So let's take a look at our next project. I will also mention that Dr. Wu presented all of his feedback in an additional video at the end. If you're still experiencing some audio issues, please know that all of these projects will be posted on our website following this, so you are more than welcome to view them there as well. All right, so our next project, we have Valor High School. So let's take a look at what they put together. These videos will be available on our website, so you are more than welcome to view them there too. So speaking of that, Dr. Jamal, what did you think of Valor High School's work?
Again, I think another excellent project, and they executed everything really well. Again, decent amount of background research that went into it, great prototyping, and like amazing testing. I think this team put a lot of effort in testing out their solution, which is always great because you want to make sure that your the solution that you're trying to find is actually working, right? They focused on real world problems, which is, that needed a solution. So that was, it was great to see. And I love the way that they also included what they've learned and what worked and what didn't work within their project as well. So that self-reflection and making sure everything is a learning experience is always a great thing.
Great. Well, thank you, Dr. Jamal. Coming up next, we have Perry Central High School. So what I'm actually going to do, this particular project is well suited to viewing it visually. So I'm actually going to turn off the sound here, and I'm going to walk you through a little bit of their project. So you'll see here that the students went through a huge ideation phase. You can see all the work that they did behind them there. And speaking of the different issues that they uncovered with their prosthetic hand, they noticed that pressure is a very important component of different kinds of actions that a prosthetic hand would need to have. So they actually incorporated these piezo sensors, and they custom 3D printed with their additive manufacturing class special digits that they could attach to their model prosthetic hand, and then take different data readings behind that. So they had this really unique way of wrapping this within the hand itself. They also, through a few of their prototypes, had to think of different ways to wire the tendons together so that the hands would be able to grip things in a certain way and get the results they were looking for. So they were able to incorporate the help of a lot of other students in their building, besides just the ones that were on the project itself. And they came up with a couple of special use cases that were relevant to this kind of a sensor. So I know they were looking at things like, if there was an amputee who wanted to hold a newborn, you would imagine that the amount of pressure applied to a baby would need to be very careful, so that they need to have some kind of a real-time mechanism in order to get that data to put it together. So they went through a series of different tests. You can see there that they were able to compare it to the results on a prosthetic hand without a sensor like that. And I really like the way that they went through lots of different ideation and prototype, and they also supplied a lot of great videos together. So I go, everybody at Perry Central High School, you all did a great job putting all these things together, and we were really proud to see everything that came through. So you'll be able to see in just a moment the pressure readings that came through the sensor that they attached to their digit of their prosthetic hand, and all the other things that came through there. So while this is playing, Dr. Jamal, did you have anything worthy of note for Perry Central High School?
Yeah, again, I'm just amazed at how the students came up with really thinking about real world applications for the problems that they're trying to solve. And the solution over here was really technical, and I loved it. You can see that they spend a lot of time in prototyping and testing what they had built. So all in all, again, a great project. Really loved the ideation, as well as the testing, as well as the thinking about like the applications of the kind of solution that they've built.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Jamal. And the last submission we'll be viewing is from Team Blue, based out of the Vinci Robotics Academy in the greater Boston area. So once again, I'll just walk through a little bit of what this project put together. So this team ideated a number of different ways in order to operate a cell phone using a prosthetic hand. So Edward put a lot of work together in order to, we particularly really enjoyed his research paper where he incorporated a lot of different scientific sources he was able to find online that would relate to operating a cell phone with a prosthetic. So there's lots of things that you have to take into account there, from the conductivity of the screen to holding the phone itself. So Edward here walked us through exactly the process that went through there. We'll make sure this video is up on the website so you can view it as well. But while we're on this subject, Dr. Jamal, what did you think of Team Blue's project?
Again, fantastic project, very, very comprehensive background research. Like, I was surprised at how the amount of detail that went into understanding the problem and the current solutions that are available and how they kind of fall short when it comes to amputees. Showed a great way, the thinking process and the testing process of, having to hold a phone, and the solution that they came up with was great. I also loved that he also went above and beyond, and they went above and beyond and looked into different gestures that are very common that you use when using a smartphone. So very, very good work. And yeah, again, amazing projects. Really, really impressed.
Great. All right, thank you, Dr. Jamal.
Hi everyone, thank you all for your hard work, for brainstorming different ways to help amputees around the world. I hope that your ideas and knowledge will help you become scientists and engineers in the future to work on some great projects, great products or innovations to help people around the world. My name is Dr. Molei Wu. I'm one of the lead engineer along with my colleagues created our Brain Robotics prosthetic hand, which is a great, amazing experience, and I really appreciate we were motivated by winning the Time magazine 2019 Best Inventions of the Year, and I do hope you are also winning a NeuroMaker award that will also inspire you to challenge yourself and make great inventions that benefit the people who need the technology the most. Kathleen, Carissa, and both courses are very central. The way you communicate your ideas was very interesting. I look forward to seeing the data that you gathered from the pressure sensor, and we can also use your help here as well. Giving the sense of touch to prosthetic hand was a very important research area in the prosthetic hand research area. Majority of the prosthetic ones, they don't have the pressure touch. I think the way you attach your piezo sensor to the fingertip was very interesting, because you embedded the sensor into the fingertip inside of it, so that actually the plastic cover could protect the sensor. And since you are using piezo based pressure sensor, it's very accurate actually. And based on your teamwork, you could get the sensor result by writing some software, and you can get testing result as well. I'm really interesting to looking forward to it as well. for Edward Yang and his classmates Alban and Wang. I think the practical value of the idea was very great. If you're looking at our daily life, the cell phones is one of the most important thing, I guess. We use it every day for almost everything. But for prosthetic hand, it might be difficult to holding a cell phone. That's true. And the way the solution you develop is very interesting. You put a magnetic sensor glue onto the palm and using it to holding a cell phone. I think it's very clever and easy way to do it. And I guess you guys have done a lot of research of different magnets just to figure out the right amount of magnetic force you needed to create such solution. And I saw the video is very convincing, and it looks like it's holding the cell phone very tightly. I guess maybe one day we could use this solution in our prosthetic hand as well. For the CG, Nicolette and Claire of Valor High School, I'm very excited to see the gesture you program. Your design is very, I guess, it seems very interesting. The gesture you created for holding a smartphone, it makes me think that we might not change the design of STEM kit at all just to holding a cell phone. But I do challenge you to try to holding a cell phone in different orientations. It might work on this position, but might not work on the other orientations. Just try different scenarios and to verify if the gesture you programmed or designed works well. And for defining gestures for different gestures like a rock, paper, scissors, it's a very fun way to use the hand. I think it's very good a usage of the prosthetic hand actually. The majority of time people using hand for some practical usage, like holding things, grasp things, and some other time people using the hand to communicate, like rock, paper, scissors is one of the funny game people used to play. It's a way to interact with the other people. It's a very smart idea actually. For the last team, Society, Citali, Angelica, and Angel of the team Banning, it's kind of you guys working on different direction. You are thinking about how to using the prosthetic hand for the extracurricular activities like arts, sports like basketball or play piano. I think each of you putting a lot of effort to tackle the problem of this individual one. And I saw the schematics and some of the drawings you make seems very interesting. It might be very useful in the future to give the hand more usage scenarios like the arts activity, holding a pen while you're drawing, or reduce the stress when you play the piano, or holding a basketball for some students. I like your guys' idea. I think overall, all of the teams have put a lot of efforts and imaginations and hard work to trying to figure out what are some of the challenges, what are some of the applications of the prosthetic hand, what are the needs that haven't been satisfied yet, and you guys find each of your own unique problems and also solutions are more important, I think. And based on all your teamwork, either you guys make some unique design, like using some like a CAD tools like inventors, you create some mechanical design, or you finding some sensors, materials, modify the hand, building something, or you program the hand gestures using the app block, just improve your software skills. and the communications and also the presentation, and you guys also read kind of like I see. I think these are very important skills when you go into your either college or maybe in your career, either the engineer skills and all the general interest in how the robotics technology could benefit people and how to get it works much better in the medical industry. I think one day you guys could all become very great engineers or biomedical engineers as well. To everyone who have participated in the NeuroMaker Challenge, I do wish you guys continue working on the things, figure out the problems, and work on your own solutions. Trying to develop some things haven't been developed yet, make a better product, just like what we did in our company. Again, I do wish you guys have a good time in school and also when you using our STEM kit products. I think it's just a starting point. You could make something great, better even than us. I do wish you guys a great future. Good one, everyone. And I just want to show you guys our hand. I think you guys can also create something better than this. I'm looking forward to the future. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Once again, we were really honored to have all these different projects here and to get feedback from the people who made that possible on our end as well. So now you've all been very patient. We all know why we're here, so we want to make sure you're recognized. So I'm going to jump right into the awards. And in case anybody wants to make any comments after your name comes up, please send a message in the chat and I will invite you to open up your audio. So our middle school first place, as you might be able to guess from our submissions that came in today, will be awarded to Team Blue. So Team Blue, congratulations, Edward, A. Orban, and Jay Wong from the Vinci Robotics Academy. You have taken the first spot in our middle school category, and you will be rewarded with $1,500 in order to further ideate your prototype, and we hope can fuel your scientific career. So in case you want to say anything, Team Blue, please send something in the chat and I will open up your microphone. If not, no worries. We would be happy to interact with you later on. So just in case you change.
Congratulations.
Yeah. All right, great.
Great job.
All right, thank you, Team Blue. All right, and moving on, we are going to go start with our high school third place team. So where we have a first, second, and third place team for high school, and coming up in third place, we would like to award this to Perry Central High School. So congratulations, Caitlin, Cole, Carissa, and Cole. You will also have some seed money that we hope can work towards getting some extra sensor equipment or whatever else can further your project along. Once again, if you'd like to make any comments, feel free to send me a note in the chat. We'll open it up. All right, so congratulations once again. Next, coming in second place for high school, we would like to award this to Team Banning out in California. So congratulations, Suzette, Satali, Angelica, and Angel. You have won our second place category, and you will also be awarded with $500, which we hope can further your project as well. And last but not least, we have our first place winner. So through process of elimination, you can probably guess that is Valor High School. So congratulations, CJ, Nicolette, and Claire. You have taken first place and $1,500 in our competition. We'll be reaching out to you, super excited with your work. We're very proud to have you part of this NeuroMaker community, and we'll make sure that your work is recognized by everybody on our public forums. So thank you, Valor High School. You did an awesome job.
Congratulations, everyone.
All right. Great. So I just wanted to once again thank everybody for your participation in this competition and alert you that there will be another round of this that we will be doing for the coming semester. In case any of you want to further prototype what you've been putting together, you are more than welcome to improve on your solution. Anybody else who's interested, we're more than happy to get them involved. And we'll be keeping a competition like this alive in the future as well. So we hope this can be opened up to anybody who's interested. And we thank you once again for all of your participation. So Dr. Jamal, do you have any final thoughts for the students who participated in this competition?
I would like to say, like, congratulations. Really, I was very impressed with the level of the entries. I was not expecting such neat solutions to really real world problems, and think, like, you know, I was thinking back at the time when I was in high school or middle school, you know, I don't think I even knew what a STEM kit was, but you guys are really breaking the boundaries, thinking outside the box, and it shows in the projects. And keep going, keep your mind, you know, keep yourself curious, try to answer questions, you know, use that problem solving skills that you learned here and you always learn to try and, you know, help society. And, you know, that's, and also, you know, to find things that you're passionate about and keep working at it. So again, congratulations to everybody. Amazing projects. Super impressed. Super impressed.
Thank you, Dr. Jamal. Max, do you have any final thoughts for all the teams that competed in this round of the competition?
Yeah, I think you guys are geniuses. The process as well as the outcomes were fantastic. Those solutions are similar to solutions that we try to develop for our own products. So you guys are thinking in the same way that, you know, our team thinks. How do we solve a real problem? Who is it for? What technology makes sense to fit what technology is going to create the solution to fit that problem? So you guys really blew me away. And if you guys, anyone on the call or any of the people that you guys know that are interested in this space, I would encourage you to reach out to Andrew and the NeuroMaker team. If you ever just want to chat about technology or how we apply it in the market, so on a company perspective, I'd personally be open to talking with any of you guys. I think I was just blown away by the submission. So I encourage you guys to reach out if you ever want to connect more deeply about any other projects that are going on, or if you have any questions about technology or technology companies. Andrew, the NeuroMaker team, and the whole BrainCo team are available to you guys. I was really, really impressed. Great job.
Thank you, Max. And once again, thank you everybody for participating. We could tell that you all learned a lot, and we hope that we can also learn from you. There's plenty of stuff that we can all do together, and we hope you stay tuned. So just as a parting note, I will be contacting all of the finalists via email, and we'll make sure that we set up everything so that you can get your awards. If you need any kinds of documentation that you want to use for college transcripts, or like a better way to get these funds to you, I'll be working with you all personally. So thank you all once again, and we hope to see more of that in the future. All right, so we are going to transition over to our BCI demo. So our judges, they might stick around, they might not. In case any of you want to get in touch with them, feel free to send me a ping on the NeuroMaker website, and we can involve all of them as well. So we're going to transition to BCI. So as you could tell from our previous set of projects, we had students investigate the world of advanced prosthetics in different ways that they can ideate ways to help amputees around the world. And that's a core part of what we do as an organization. However, what we also have a big part in doing is putting together the applications of brain-computer interface technology. So just as we had students engage how to solve problems using a model prosthetic, we actually want to engage students with interacting with brain-computer interfaces as well. So I have with me today one of our Focus One headbands, which Max has already told us about, has been involved in years of development, and we've been able to use in lots of different consumer and other uses as well. And we wanted to make sure that you had access to the exact same hardware and go through the very similar engineering challenges that our engineers and scientists face in order to bring these products to market. So what I'll be doing now is explaining a little bit about what's inside of our NeuroMaker BCI curriculum and product, and I'll be doing a short demo at the end. You've all been very patient with this webinar so far, so I want to make sure we get to the good parts and make sure that you understand everything you need to know. So First of all, just to set the note here with a couple of minutes, what is a brain-computer interface? Well, one way to see it in real time is from our company founder, Mr. Han-Bi Chung, and he is wearing, you can tell, a special skull cap with sensors on top of it, operating a robot in front of him. So what those sensors are doing on his scalp is this technology called EEG, and electroencephalography. I've had to practice that word many times in my career. And that's actually picking up different kinds of brain activity through the skin on top of your skull. And what that can do is used to operate all kinds of interesting applications. And here you can see it actually operating a robot. So we wanted to make sure that there were lots of different things available in case that a student wanted to go through this whole process as well. So I'm looking at this industry as well. You might have been able to see different kinds of news in the media about the application of this technology. So some of the more notable entrants into BCI possibilities include Bill Gates. You might have heard of Neuralink with Elon Musk, who's trying to keep humanity on the forefront of AI. And one of the biggest projects he has is his Neuralink company, which is investigating different ways that you can not just understand the human brain, but actually be able to use the data that you can collect through different kinds of BCI applications in order to amplify what a human being is capable of doing. And even Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook had his own initiative for quite a few years where they were using special sensors like the one that you just saw in the video in order to figure out the brain activity behind typing things so that they could classify the signals that come out of your brain and can be measured on the scalp so that you could actually be able to type faster. So in a certain sense, if you can understand what kind of signals are coming out of the brain, you can correlate those signals with a certain kind of action. So they've actually been researching how people can interact with communicating with other human beings faster using this kind of technology. So it's a forefront of new tech. There's been huge interest all over the world in order to do this. The USA has its own USA Brain Initiative. In Europe, China, Korea, Australia, there's all kinds of research institutions, different kinds of funding sources available so that this technology can be pushed into the forefront. And we wanted to make sure that just like students can interact with our NeuroMaker hand, if you want to enter this field, if you want to be like one of the amazing judges that you heard speak with us today, that you get the cornerstones of that technology opened up to you in your educational experience. So working with our BCI scientists, along with some other BCI practitioners around the world, we're able to break down 5 different pieces that we wanted to make sure any student interested in entering this kind of field would be able to experience. So number 1, we want to make sure that students can learn basic neuroscience. So understanding the different lobes of the brain, what kind of signals are detected through BCI, right? So what are action potentials? What are our neurons doing that are creating these electrical impulses that we can measure through these special sensors? From there, we wanted to make sure that students could get a good groundwork in the actual processing of those signals. So there's all this raw data that can be gathered by these sensors. However, you need to be able to identify which of these signals is appropriate for your use. So not only using the right brain waves and combinations of them to match up with certain kinds of human activity, but also being able to filter out things that you don't want. So for example, if you're wearing a headband with a special kind of sensor, you're going to pick up different muscle signals that come from your forehead. You're going to pick up other noise. So if you have electrical appliances around you, these are all things that you're going to have to filter out, and we call that all signal processing. Number 3, BCI practitioners in the future are going to need to have at least a basic understanding of machine learning, because a lot of this raw data coming out of your brain is going to be very complex. There's going to be lots of different classifiers that you're going to need to run, and the best way to do that is with currently available machine learning technology. So that's mostly on the science side and technology of what students need to know, but they're also going to need to know, of course, the ethics of impact behind this. So one of the first applications of BCI in the medical field was communicating with people who are paralyzed or cannot otherwise communicate in the normal way that we human beings are used to doing. So if there is somebody paralyzed, can they actually give consent, right? So there's this whole new field of neuroethics that has evolved over the past few years. And there's been some really interesting ways that human beings have had to think through the ethical use of this technology. So we want to make sure that students have a firm grounding in those principles, not to mention that the impact of those things will include being able to use open source materials that you'll be able to find online. So what are the protocols behind all that? So we wanted to make sure there's plenty of materials available that students can learn. And last but not least, learning all these things are great, but you're going to actually need to have hands-on experiences that can translate this kind of content into actual skills. So we put together a series of different exercises that students can work on so that you'll be able to learn how to apply these different principles in an actual real-world environment. So those are the things that we've identified we want our students to learn. And we've worked with a wonderful nonprofit based in Canada called NeuroTech. They are one of the largest BCI-centered nonprofits in the world. So you can see here with some of their initial figures, they have thousands of members around the world. They host events in different cities all over the world as well. And the different BCI scientists from that organization actually collaborated with us in order to create the curriculum that we've put together for our NeuroMaker BCI product. So it's also a great inroad to a community of different neuroscientists around the world. So we want to open up these doors. If you are interested in this kind of a space, there are lots of different people that you can interface with. So within NeuroMaker BCI, so you're going to use this headband that you see here. This is called our Focus One. And this has actually been used by Formula One racers. It's been used by different kinds of research applications. So this is actual BCI technology. It's not something that is a toy or a purely educational instrument that we use for this kind of an application. This is straight from the laboratory and straight from the people actually using it. And to supplement what people are going to be doing with this device, we have a series of curriculum, which will go through all those different things that we talked about in the previous few slides. So you're going to go through everything from introducing this kind of knowledge to students in your classes, to being able to run different exercises with machine learning, impact and ethics. And then finally, you're going to be able to create your own applications with this technology. So you're going to investigate alpha waves and how you can make a rudimentary sleep detector. You're going to be able to take in a few other of these brain waves and build some more comprehensive applications to measure attention. And not to mention, we also have a few open challenges at the end, which you can choose based on which of these topics you're most interested in. So people using NeuroMaker BCI will be coding primarily in Python, and they're going to be doing that through these tools that we've put together. So everything from setting up your own virtual environment with Anaconda. Through that, you're going to have access to a lot of really great machine learning tools. And from there, you're going to be able to connect the data coming out of this headband to the applications and sample activities that we've pre-programmed for you within Jupyter Notebooks. So as of the launch, this product is ready to be implemented on PCs. So anybody who's has a PC in your classroom, we noticed that a lot of schools out there have these hooked up to 3D printers and you want to set up a BCI station, you're more than welcome to use that. And it'll be connected through a Wi-Fi connection. So this device is wireless, and we can walk through exactly how that's connected to your devices. So that is what the basics of this product look like. So I wanted to give you a quick sample of what the curriculum looks like. And then finally, I'm going to show you some of the different things that you can do with this headband. So within the curriculum itself, so this is actually taken from one of our lessons learning about brainwaves. I'm going to break down some of the fundamentals of BCI technology and then show you the different brainwaves that are connected with that. And then you'll be able to see the actual brainwaves coming out of my head. And you can see exactly what my emotional, or say like mental state looks like, cognitive state. So the fundamentals of BCI include number one, collecting brain signals. So we're going to do that through EEG, like I just said before, and we're going to detect all the tiny electrical impulses that you can measure on your scalp. So that's the first stage of this BCI technology that we're going to be uncovering together. The second one is, just like I said, using signal processing and machine learning. We're going to filter out the signals that we want to have so that we can focus on the things that we're most interested in. Maybe we're looking at finding how attentive somebody is. Maybe we want to look at some other kind of data. You're going to have to do that through some kind of filtering. And then finally, the last step of BCI technology is you're going to have to output some kind of a command. So through this curriculum, we focus mostly on representing this kind of data in some kind of a chart, or filtering out the different kinds of signals that we want so that we can display them on the screen. However, you can also even connect this with your NeuroMaker hand, and you can have your hand make different gestures based on your different brain data. So those can be all kinds of different commands that you could put together using the things that you have in the classroom now. And there's the last piece of BCI technology. So as I mentioned before, some of the real world applications of these things are people who are locked into some kind of unable to communicate status. So we see this a lot with people who have become paralyzed or have suffered some kind of brain injury. That is one of the most common medical uses for this technology. And the one that we focus on at BrainCo and wish to manifest through NeuroMaker is this whole field of neuroprosthetics. So there's this really interesting community of people out there who are being able to take brain signals, filter them out, and then have them power up different kinds of external devices. So our prosthetic hand, for example, our brain robotics hand actually uses special sensors that are attached to an amputee's arm, and they can filter out the different kinds of muscle signals that would be able to control a hand. So an amputee will actually be able to control a hand just by using the muscle signals inside of their arm. So that's another great application of this technology, and you can do something very similar with your NeuroMaker hand. So EEG, these are things that we're just measuring things coming out of the brain on your scalp. It's just a sensor that sits on top of your head. It's not going to be able to do super fancy stuff, but you will actually be able to get incredibly detailed with the amount of data coming through these sensors. So you'll be able to see that in just a moment. And you may have heard about different kinds of brain waves. So what I thought would be interesting is for you to learn a little bit about each kind of brain wave, and then you'll be able to see them manifested from my brain itself. So the first one, you might have heard of delta waves. So this is one of the lowest frequency bands of brain activity. And these waves are typically linked with slow wave sleep. So you'll see these used a lot with some of the applications that we have, creating a sleep detector, and you can sense drowsiness and other kinds of kind of low cognitive activity through this kind of wave. Next, we have theta waves. So these appear mostly during meditative, drowsy, hypnotic, and non-deep sleeping states. So these are things that are incorporated a lot into the algorithms that we use with meditation. So just as Max was talking about that kind of research that comes into this, you'll notice that you'll have to apply a combination of these different waves together in order to get the kind of results that you're looking for. So there's also been some cool links, as you can see here, with memory encoding and some other cool applications that researchers are using now to improve people's memory and see how well people learn. Next, we have alpha waves. So you may have heard of these. So these are inversely correlated with attention. So the more alpha that you're getting, the less attentive that you are. So you'll actually be able to see alpha waves themselves in the application that I'll run for you in just a moment. And these are, in my opinion, these are some of the most fun waves that you can experience, because based on different kinds of exercises that you do with your brain, you'll be able to see some really quick feedback. So these are some of the most receptive waves that you can have to different activities that you're doing. Finally, there are beta waves. You may have heard of these too. So these are actually very closely correlated with ADHD and that kind of research. So actually, ever since 2013, there has been certified medical use of this technology in order to do some special ways of diagnosing ADHD and other kinds of mental states like that. So using this kind of ratio between different waves, people can actually apply this to things that we've only been able to detect through outward behavior. So now you can actually go right into your brain itself and figure out what's going on. And finally, gamma waves. You'll be able to see this in our application too. These are some of the fastest waves, and these are associated with attention, consciousness, perception, and memory. So these will also be something that gets combined into other applications that you'll be able to see. So I thought would be most fun for everybody here is to actually see this in action. So I'm going to power up my headband, and you are going to be able to see what is happening in my brain right now. Give me just a moment while I set this up. So I'm going to open up our main application here. I'm actually going to restart it. And you're going to see within this window, I'm going to be able to connect the device to my computer. So you're in a username and the 4 digits of my Mac. So on every device, there's going to be a few characters here that are going to help my computer understand which device that I want to use. We have a transmission port here if you want to connect your NeuroMaker hand, and you can actually have your hand work with the data that's coming through this headband. All right, so it's connecting. I'm going to put this on. So as you can see here, I have one sensor that goes on my forehead, and I have another two that go behind my left ear. And these will work together in order to measure my brain activity. So now I'm just going to adjust it a little bit. There we go. So this is going to come in just a moment. So I just taught you a little bit about each one of these different brain waves. So you'll be able to see them here. So if you remember alpha waves, delta waves, theta waves, beta waves, and gamma waves, you'll see them all manifested through this. So we like to give students a look into everything available through our developed applications. So you have access to all these different raw signals that I just talked to you about. We have the absolute raw EEG data itself. So you'll be able to see that each one of these different measurements here, whether they're this attention application, which I'll talk about in a moment, this meditation one, or the alpha or any of these other waves, these are all filtered out through these raw EEG signals. So all that signal processing that I talked about, all that machine learning is happening through the signals that are coming out of this device and into my computer through the machine learning algorithms and other things that are set up behind the scenes. So you'll be able to parse all those out separately. Also, we have two pre-made applications ready for you to use right out of the box. So we have one here. If you remember, alpha waves and a few of the other ones that I talked about are all correlated in some way with attention. So our scientists and engineers on our end were able to figure out the combination of these, which will be able to best represent your attentive state. So in this case, this is really correlated with heavy cognitive activity. So if you imagine yourself sitting down at your table and you're trying to figure out a super hard math problem and you are thinking really hard, you're totally focused in on what you're doing and it leaves you mentally tired, that's where this algorithm is going to shine. What we do is we calibrate the signals that are coming in on an index from 0 to 100. So a 0 is going to be not attentive at all. So maybe you are either distracted or you're super relaxed or you're not fully invested in whatever mental task that you're doing at the moment. And of course, an 100 will be something that you're very focused in, your cognitive activity is very high. And as you can see here, as I'm talking to you all, it's going to stay within this base level. So anywhere between 35 and 65 on this index is going to be related to something that's, everyday activity. I'll see if I can change those numbers around so you can see them in real time. Also, we have a pre-baked meditation activity or a meditation algorithm. And what this shows is how meditative you are, so how relaxed, right? So how well are you being able to clear out those things in your mind that you're trying to remove yourself from. So once again, it's from a scale of 0 to 100, and the typical band that a human is going to be in if you're just going about your daily life is going to be between 35 and 65. So that's a quick look at all these different things. You'll be able to see that these charts will change based on certain things that I do. We have time here on the x-axis, and we have just how strong the signals are on the y-axis. And let's see if I can make some of these things dance for you all. So if you remember, alpha is inversely correlated with attention, and it's also something that's the most easy to measure if you're giving lots of different noise to a particular activity. So if I blink a lot, you'll be able to see the readings there increase quite high. So you'll notice that depending on these different signals that are coming through your device, you're going to be able to see that come through these charts here. So some of the things that our signal processing curriculum is going to go through is how can you use different algorithms to filter out the noise that you don't want so you can focus on just the things that you're trying to focus on in your head. You can see here on our pre-baked attention algorithm, I'll be able to see if I can make that go up and down for you all. So I will be very honest with you all. I have not been very effective at getting into a very attentive state. However, I am quite good at bringing that number down. So really filtering out stuff in my mind, like becoming disconnected with some kind of mental state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relax for you all. And if I do everything right, you should be able to see this indicator go down. So with all the stage fright that I have here, let's see if I can get that number down. I give myself about 15 to 20 seconds to relax. There you have it. So as you can see, if I really clear out my mind and I try to remove any kind of heavy duty thinking that is going through my head, my attention numbers will go down and my meditation numbers will go up. So those are all because we're filtering out the data signals that we're looking for inside of this raw EEG signal, and the SDK that we provided within this application itself actually does all that work for you. So I just wanted to give you a quick preview of some of those things inside of this curriculum or product. What I'm going to do is realize that I've already taken up about an hour and 6 minutes of your time. I'm super grateful for all of you who have participated in our challenge and are interested in the world of brain-computer interface technology. I did want to leave a couple minutes here in case you all had any questions. I'm going to leave this running just so you can see a little bit of what's going on in my head. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat here. If not, you are more than welcome to reach me via email or through the website itself, and we'll be happy to get back in touch with you. So I'm going to give a couple moments here just to see if anybody's interested in learning more. I've actually already run 2 different webinars demoing this technology, and you can find those on our website, and we've answered plenty of other questions there. So we'd be more than happy to share that information with you as well. All right, so I have one question here. What programming language is this compatible with? So actually the entire curriculum itself is run through different Python libraries that we provide. So you'll be able to work through the Jupyter Notebooks interface that we host our curriculum on, and then use different kinds of Python data science concepts and other things that you can integrate into that environment to complete all the activities within there. So my recommendation is anybody who has a few years of Python under your belt, you'll probably be able to respond best to this curriculum at the moment of its inception. And we're going to be including a lot of other exercises that dive deeper into the science behind this stuff, not to mention other ways that you can use this technology as well. We'll see if there's another one. So when can I get my NeuroMaker results sent to me? So I will send you all the NeuroMaker materials that you'll need to finish up the awards that you got by tomorrow at the latest. We're just getting everything ready on our end and want to make sure that you all got the happy news today, and we'll absolutely get that information to you as soon as possible. I'll most likely be working with you next week on the logistical items with you know, the awards themselves or the funds that are available for our winners. Let's see if any more. All right, great. So I think that wraps it up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to spend with us today to recognize the achievements that our students have put together and to see a little bit of what's inside of our upcoming technologies. So thank you once again. I'm going to end our webinar here. And in case you all have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. But until next time, you're all awesome, and I hope to speak with you soon.